thank you so very much for staying with us this morning. Happy birthday to you if you're celebrating your birthday. If you're celebrating your anniversary, happy anniversary to you. And if you're a law-abiding citizen, we say good morning and thank you so much for being here. Now, it's time for another edition of Law and Order JA. The question sent in to us this morning reads as follows. Hi, my name is Alicia from Portmore. I've been thinking about importing some fashion items from China to resell. On my online kids store. The thing is, they're replicas of well-known designer brands, and everyone knows that that kind of thing is everywhere over there. My question is, if I knowingly import these knockoffs into Jamaica, even if I don't pretend they're the real thing, can I still get into legal trouble? Is it really that serious? Well, to talk about the seriousness of the situation, joining us this morning to give us counsel on the matter is managing partner at Duncock's Attorneys at Law, Mr. Emil Leiber. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning.
Nice to have you on the show yet again.
Thanks for having me.
And guys, he's my past teacher, right? So, like,
I endorse her fully. I endorse her fully.
I'm kind to say sir, right? The girl, mother, right? So every time I'm like, sir, right. But talk to me about, this question here. Sounds like we're in trademark infringement, all kind of different things. What department are we?
So yeah, we're in relation to trademark, we're in relation to importation of goods and the limitations on importing goods that could infringe the marks of other goods. So you have some goods that are kind of generic. So I did some research on this. Apparently it's like handbags.
Yes.
Certain handbags, just by looking at them, you can tell it's the Gucci and yes,
it's the Hermes. Yes,
Hermes,
it's the
there
Birkin.
we go. It's the Birkin, and it has a distinctive shape.
Yes.
So just by that design, when it is that you design something that is a replica of a well-known design, that could be known as what they call passing off. Meaning that it's the imitation, but you're trying to pretend it's the real thing. That's where you get yourself into trouble. But if it is a generic type of tote bag and that type of thing, you can brand that yourself, because it's not distinctive to any particular brand. So if it is that you want to import things, they need to kind of look more generic. Well, they either need to be the genuine, authentic article, right? And then you resell with a markup, which stores do in Jamaica. There's nothing wrong with importing genuine items, but you don't want to import something that looks like you're trying to pass it off as something else, even if you're not intentionally trying to mislead or deceive the public. It can be stopped at customs.
Because that's not a defense, by the way.
Right, exactly.
So you can't say, Your Honor, someone never tell him say it real. I just carry it in, I never know.
Exactly.
Yeah, ignorance of the law is not a defense, right?
Exactly.
But let me just ask the counsel, just, for our edification. Some people might be saying, but if we carry in one bag, it say WV instead of LV, it kind of look like a leanish, But what's the big deal? Louis Vuitton, a big brand, them have them millions already. So why can't I just carry in a bag that is, a replica of their bag? What is the problem?
See, no, this is the thing. When it is that you have marks which are similar, people, when they're buying, they're not, the law says, we are not too careful. So if something looks like it or close enough to it, we'll kind of assume that it is it. So when it is that you have those near looks, but not the actual thing, it can still be an infringement.
Right.
And then the problem with counterfeit goods, and the Chamber of Commerce, I think, had something on this just last week, is that it can devalue the brand.
Yes.
So people think they're getting the genuine article, and when they buy these things, they last 5 minutes, they last, a week, or whatever it might be. And people say, boy, look how I buy this genuine thing, and it just mash up in a week.
Right.
So people are now associating that brand with low quality, with poor materials, and so it now devalues that brand. And then with social media now, 1 or 2 negative experiences can go viral.
Yes.
Somebody showing like, look, I bought this bag and it is this great brand, and look how it looks, you know, now
Mash up
after
in
a
2
week.
minutes, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it can be much more significant than people think it is.
So based on what the question being presented this morning is then, to import replica is illegal?
Yeah, well, there's a notification process to Commissioner of Customs and so on, but I would say in a very broad strokes, yes, it can be taken and destroyed.
Right.
So you will lose your investment. So separate from fines and that type of thing, you could spend your good money, even if it's a cheaper brand, it's still money, you know, spend your good money, and then when it comes, it's not processed, it's not allowed to be brought into the country, and it's destroyed. So you lose that little investment that you had. So, you know, so you have to be careful that what you're bringing in is not something which has been notified to be counterfeit goods.
Right.
And so on. So there's
And we've seen from time to time on the news where, you know, the anti-corruption task force or terrorism task force, you know, they go to business places and they actually seize these products as well. In terms of, is it something that she could go to jail for? Is it, you know, punishable by, say, confinement?
Yeah, you could end up there. You could end up there. I think for that type of crime, it's usually a fine or imprisonment.
Right.
So you wouldn't necessarily get directly to jail, but you know the fiscal impact of it can be quite significant, particularly for those who are doing it as a business.
Yes.
You know, who are bringing in large volumes and quantities of these goods. For resale purposes, they can end up on the wrong side of the law.
So whether it be handbags, whether it be shoes, whether as long as it is an imitation of, then you can be in a spot of bother.
Yes. So.
Well, so you may want to just buy the real thing, or just buy something, as Mr. Liba is saying, generic, where you can brand it yourself, so you're not infringing on anybody's trademark or seeming like you're passing off, right, with any kind of misrepresentation of the real thing.
Exactly.
Okay, fine, good. And can the person, say for example, if the brand knows that, oh, there's a person down in Jamaica selling something that looks like, can the person be sued?
Yes, so there's also a civil remedy for what they call an injunction, which is a court order that basically says stop. Stop, right? And if you don't stop, we're going to lock you up. And then also there's an account of profits concept. So let's say you've been doing this for a while and them just catch you, right? They can get an order from the court that says, account to me, the brand, for the amount of money that you made over this period and pay over that money that you made to me.
Wow.
Because you have benefited from my brand, right? So you can lose anything that you put in, you can lose and lose and lose.
Wow. And because we're not going to lose and lose and lose, we just want to win and win and win. We're going to do the right thing and import the authentic, the genuine article or a generic brand that is not infringing on any other brand's trademark. Well, sir, thank you so very much for shining some light on that. So let's think twice about replicas, counterfeit, because that is definitely a spot of bother. Attorney at law Emil Liba helping us with this segment this morning to navigate the do's and the don'ts, the rights and the wrongs, the law and order JA. There's more Sunrise right after this. Please do stay with us.